Welcome back to the wild. This is Cypris. In this installment, the gang travels by cruise ship to the ancient city of Ephesus. I didn't manage to get any early morning footage. We were getting up early and trying to get off the cruise ship and get breakfast, so I didn't actually start filming until we were off the cruise ship on the tour bus, pulling up to the archaeological tourism site.
Right hand side. See the WC sign. Recommend to use, otherwise it's a long line, especially at the ladies' room.
Honestly, I don't think we were expecting the crowds. A lot of people visit Ephesus. It must be a really famous tourist location. There were a lot of people there. We were in a group with the cruise in a guided tour, but we snuck away a couple of times from that tour. Early on, we slipped away to really appreciate the Temple of Artemis that is there, an old Greek temple to the goddess.
You notice the pillars actually look ancient Greek,
yeah,
from the place of Delphi that we were.
Yeah.
So if you look at that, it's like Athena and the back is Corinth.
Yes, very much.
So
we let the crowds pass and had a little bit of actual quiet time because the tour groups were all walking right by this temple. They weren't spending a lot of time there. So we kind of had it all to ourselves for a few minutes. And we grounded and did a meditation and prayer to Artemis.
that's her temple.
Yeah,
So I'm going to go there, do some work. So bring the white light down and the red light up. And just open the legs are wide open. Just receive the energy through the first chakra and your yoni. And we'll send total love to the mother, Artemis, to help us and protect us.
During this prayer, one of the temple cats, the cats that live there, cried out, came up behind us and was asking for attention. Because of my particular lifetime relationship with cats and their connection with the goddess, I didn't feel that I could ignore this little animal, so I turned around and thanked her for acknowledging her presence there. I actually think she was begging for food, but she was adorable. After the prayer, we left an offering of water.
And then when we were in Ephesus, it was the feminine energy that really like woke up in me in a whole way.
Hello, you know, like a welcoming, or I don't know how to quite say it.
She welcomed you.
Yeah, but like in a very like, you know, strong, present way, not just like a way, hello, you know.
Yeah, this been because I've been here a few times, and
That was kind of our start to exploring this ancient city.
that's the energy for here. So every time I get called to bring something, you know, and people want to stop here. I mean, people want to feel this energy. You come and you do. The oracle will be there, and you get a message.
And we kind of caught back up with our tour group.
So here on our right side is again the Greta neon, the fire temple. And we proceed down the street, down the so-called...
You know, if we can hear him and follow him a little bit. Just look at the sign, you know, just...
we strolled through the city ruins with the tour. One of the things our guide pointed out to us was a carving of Nike. She's the goddess of victory, often depicted with Athena. Apparently, I didn't know this was the inspiration for the Nike swoosh. Who knew?
The city in the Roman soil was called Antioch. What I prefer calling the 2nd century after Christ, Roman condo. These were what condos. And some things never change. Use your imagination. All the condos, once upon a time, were all overlooking the sea. No rest. The majority of the people would speak Greek. That's why the majority of that mostly Greek. How did you know?
And as we were all filing through this narrow place, there was an adorable little tabby sitting there in the ruins, greeting us, keeping an eye on the tour group. And as you can see, she's at work today. She's not looking for affection. She is looking for handouts. So the rule of the day was don't disturb cats who are working. One of the most notable stops on the tour was the library in Ephesus. They've recreated the face of this building, the front of it, from what they were able to dig up of the pieces of it and put it back together. And just from the face of the building, really impressive building, really beautiful, and both inspiring and sad to think about all of the knowledge and learning that was going on in that building, and things fall away and disappear over the eons. And then we got into the main drag. I don't remember what they call it. It was the big main thoroughfare through town that linked the library and the Agora, what would have been the mall.
How big?
This would have been the main important thoroughfare.
The whole area, see those arches? Yeah. Each arch used to be a shop, and the Greek word agora meaning marketplace. The heart of the town was beating. This was the most sacred part of the town. Right.
And when we started walking up that main street, I was very aware of all the commotion, all the people watching, all the posturing, all of the angst, the energy from all of those people being in that street, looking and being seen. It was like the energy signature of those people was still embedded in the stones. We make everything out of disintegratable materials now. We don't make things out of stone anymore. Maybe it's a good thing we're not leaving an energetic signature behind, but these ancient sites are stone. So they recorded the vibration, the energy of the people who were living and working and dying in that space. Almost like a window opened up through time. I was getting that feeling of what it was like to be on that street when Ephesus was up and running. I really enjoyed that. As you can see, there were vast swaths and segments of this archaeological site that the tour group never ventured through. It would have taken days to explore the entire site properly. So, I don't know, about midway through the tour, we broke away. Zeffie was kind enough to let the tour guide know.
This is the fountain. That's where they drank water. So that you can see really the difference in how they were built on top of that Hellenistic times.
And we broke away so that we could visit the Chapel of Mary. There's a chapel there, or the remains of a chapel, as you can see, and a baptismal font, a really cool baptismal font. We were privileged to sit in this space, and Zeffie shared some important and privileged information with us about the site and the history of the site and the history of the church and Mary.
And Jesus mattered pretty much there because he was supposed to be connecting to Mary, which is the daughter of Lazarus. She was the one who helped him rise. But he met, got initiated here, and then they went and got baptized there.
At the baptismal font, we left another prayer and water offering, and did a little ritual cleansing slash baptism slash anointing with the same water we were offering to the space.
Gypsy. God, Cypris. This is part of the Sarah lineage, the Gypsy lineage. What can I say? You're right, I'm good. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
Okay. Huh? It's a very powerful place. So, if everybody's feeling all that, it's because you've been initiated here. You walked it.
So time was getting short at this point. We were really enjoying being in that space, so we had to hustle a little bit to rejoin the tour just as we needed to be loading the bus. And we headed over to another spot on the tour, the Carpet Cooperative.
Carpet making is the traditional, most important Turkish handicraft. It's actually Turks' national heritage.
This was a smooth operation.
But today, unfortunately, it's the most rapidly dying art. I mentioned this earlier, that all the young people are moving into big cities. Nobody wants to sit in front of the loom and trying to make a carpet for months or years, because some of them take years, especially the silk ones. We're losing this art.
It was very beautiful, and everything was set up to show how the carpets were being made, but very picturesque, very idyllic, almost pastoral. Everything's just set up just so for tourists. They showed us how they harvested the silk, and it disturbed me a little bit because from what I could tell, they're still harvesting without letting the worms have their natural life cycle. It looked to me like they were killing the worms while they were still in their cocoons, and I have some ethical issues with that because I believe that it is possible to collect the silk without killing the worms, and maybe they weren't killing the worms, but they really didn't say anything about it, and I feel like they would have said so in their presentation because it was a very polished presentation. Nevertheless, I really didn't get the impression that most of the people there were particularly concerned about the worms.
Several there naturally. This is real simple. And we can see them unraveling right now.
Then they took us into the sales floor, and holy cow, were we wined and dined.
Dyeing is in two ways, either natural or chemical.
As somebody who's been in sales for years, I was in awe. I mean, props. They took us into this room. We were seated around in a big horseshoe shape for the presentation where they would show us the carpets and talk about the carpets.
Different variations. We can always use natural colors.
But first, they brought in wine or apple juice.
Apple juice on this tray, white wine or red wine on this tray. So drinks are on the house. Please enjoy.
You know, nice touch.
Feel free to ask questions, and you can join us. When I say that, friends will show us rugs.
And then they presented the rugs. They talked about how they were made.
And most of the rugs we're going to see are new arrivals made locally.
How they're made by artisans, by hand, the ancient process, all of that, all good information. And they showed us some carpets.
One of our original designs.
We were all oohing and ahhing over these carpets because they really are lovely works of art.
I wanted to share it with you, see how...
Yeah. Oh my God.
Beautiful.
Timeless classic, this one. Look at this.
Beautiful.
This is one other original work. Would you like to have fun? Do you know how we get the best feeling from these rugs? If we try barefoot.
They invited us to walk on the carpets with bare feet. So we got this tactile interaction with the carpets. Really genius. They let us touch them with our feet and get intimate. And I felt really bad because I was wearing sandals and my feet were dirty, but I was not alone. I mean, they must be used to that, but I felt it a little bit. And the carpets really did feel amazing. And you could definitely tell the difference between the silk ones and the wool ones. So they teased us with the beauty and the quality of the carpets, and then they gratified us a little with the wine and tactile sensation of walking on the carpets. And then
They're all unique.
they worked the audience up into this orgasmic crescendo.
Visualize one.
Oh my God.
We are.
genius. They had everybody worked up. It was hilarious.
Oh my God.
Those are fine range rugs. Would you like to come and walk on this one or feel this one?
Oh, yeah.
You should not miss this opportunity.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And after all that, they invited us to get out and walk on the carpets again.
You can browse around on your own. Feel free to browse around.
Admittedly, sitting in there and knowing what they're doing, I still really wanted to have enough money to buy a rug. Just, you know, a slow clap for the carpet vendors.
Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you.
Wish you a great time. Wish you a safe journey back home.
Because dang, that was the most impressive sales pitch I've seen in a very long time. But we were definitely all impressed with them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did you like that? Oh. Gorgeous. One of our fine work, nice work.
I like the subtlety.
Luxurious.
Brings me about
By the way, it seems like